My name is Ivan Tolstoy. Many people ask me, what do I feel? And I think that if you were born as somebody, you do not have any attitude towards this obstacle. You are inhabited to be, I don't know, a dog, a cat, a monkey, or a Tolstoy. That's the same for me. I don't think about it. It's just a reality, just my own reality. I feel very calm about it. This is people who are irritated with this fact, not me.
If Mr. Tolstoy lives nowadays, contemporary lives, do you think he was able to write again those kind of the great stories?
I'm sure he should write the same thing, because he was a person that led his own road in his life. He was not listening to the Tsar, to the court, or to the government. He found his own items, his own problems in the life, and he discussed them. And he solved some psychological problems. That was a real genius that survived in any obstacles. If he was born now, in our days, I think he should be the same person, though he had his own evolution. At the beginning, he was a man with hundreds of slaves that worked for him. So all his wealth, all his commonwealth, was based on this slavery. And then he understood it was evil. And then he changed his mind. And that's why at the beginning, at the end of his life, he left his home. He left his home. And he went away from the family, because members of his family didn't understand him. Or probably they did understand, but they didn't agree with him because of his moral standing on his standards. And such a person, for sure, appears in every epoch, in every generation. Probably this person is not a writer of genius, but we see around us persons that stand in front of the power of government, of the public opinion, and they have their own mind, their own feeling and understanding of what a man should do. Leo Tolstoy always told, "Fais ce que tu dois, advienne ce qui pourra." Do what you have to do, and what will happen? That will happen. I think that he will be perfectly in a jail for all his lifetime, because he couldn't support it. And I mean not only our days, but beginning with Lenin and Stalin, for sure. He could not support it. He could not just take it as it is. For sure he would protest, because his main articles, main essays he wrote in those days before revolution were devoted to the fact of shooting, of hanging people, of war, of unjust laws, and of unjust politics of the Tsarist government. So what to say about Bolsheviks? What to say about Lenin? And for sure about Stalin? No, he could not survive this time. He would perish several times. When my daughter was 5, now she's 36, when she was 5 it was Soviet life around me, and it was impossible to go abroad. So at the beginning of 80s, we were going in some tram through the St. Petersburg, that it was called Leningrad at those times, devoted to Lenin. So she asked me, just in the middle of the crowd in the tram, "Daddy," asked she very loudly, "was Lenin a good person?" Because we were passing the monument of Lenin. And it was just the question to be answered immediately and in the middle of the Soviet crowd. That was the moment of truth, as they say. And I asked her, some people believe he was good, but some people believe he was bad, because he announced that his aim is the prosperity of the people. And probably you heard about the concentration camps, about killing people, about all these troubles that came to our land, that happened to our people. Probably you heard that millions of our people in Russia were killed and thrown in jail, in concentration camps. Yes, and I heard the silence in this tram, because everybody in Soviet Union and in this particular tram understood. They knew that I was right with my answer. So I told her, if you think that killing people is a good deed, so Lenin was a good person. If you think on the contrary, then he was a bad one. This is you who will decide. Was he good or not? And then in a couple of minutes, it was our stop, and we went away. And I felt with my back how people looked at me.
Did you have any trouble because of your relation with Tolstoy during the Soviet time?
I had a little troubles, but not very much, not very much. I was not a dissident, but however, I felt many sympathy towards dissidents. And till now, those people who were against the Soviet government and Soviet politics, they are my own heroes, and I'm studying their lives and this period. It's very interesting for me. It's the years of my youth. You are right that probably it is the best way to understand a writer, a great one, to read his books. But I am not so naive as I was when I was very young. I thought that a man, a person, must read everything that is important, that is interesting. Now I understand that probably some ideas, probably some, some thoughts of a great person could be rendered not only in the form of a novel or a poem, but probably they could be translated in another language of art and of thought. Yes, I'm sure that a movie can exist that would render very correctly what a person told you, what a writer is writing.
Rosamund Battle said, if people wants to understand the matters, what happened in the past, they have to read classical stories now. Do you agree?
I agree, but there is no progress in thinking during the whole history of mankind. There is a program of technology, but the progress in the matter of ethics, in the matter of moral, even in the matter of art, there is no progress. Yes, people invent some new forms, but is it a progress? Is it a real progress? If you read Leo Tolstoy, or if you don't read him, I think you can grow up as a very educated and very moral and very interesting person, even a genius. Just imagine, William Shakespeare never read Tolstoy. He's a great person, probably the greatest in the world. So Plato or Aristotle never read Tolstoy, never read Shakespeare. So they are great persons. And if we read Plato, then for sure we become something else. We are enriched with all those ideas, with all those inspiration of a great person. There's no need to read 100% of Tolstoy. No, you can read another writers. But if you read interesting and deep books with deep thoughts and with great inspiration, you will be a happy person, a happy reader. I don't place Tolstoy or anybody else at the top of some list. No, there are many ways to come near to the truth. Not only Tolstoy, not only Shakespeare, not only put here any name you like. Tolstoy is the shortest probably way to get the truth, or Shakespeare or Dostoevsky or anybody else. But there are many ways. I don't insist that everyone in the world should read Tolstoy. For me, it was a good way. For you, probably it will be another way to get to the truth. The truth is not it doesn't go together only with several people in the world, with genius. Truth is everywhere.
What do you think? How long the people in the world have to wait to see? Is that possible to another Tolstoy?
The most complicated question you could put me. I don't know. Probably yes. People will see for sure another Tolstoy. His name probably will be another one. We all are waiting for this writer. We are all interested. That's why we are looking so attentively in the month of October, in the beginning, when the Nobel Prize Committee announces the new genius of the world, the new winner, and we are all expecting that will be Tolstoy or Dostoevsky or I don't know, Hermann Hesse. Our society in Russia, in the newest Russia, is divided by their attitude and attention to the great Leo Tolstoy. Not only the newest generation, but the Russian Church, the Russian Orthodox Church, does not accept many ideas of the great Tolstoy. And when very recently in the country we were marking the anniversary of Leo Tolstoy, any newest anniversary, it happens many times, the anniversary of his books, of War and Peace, of Anna Karenina, of his death, of his birth, etc., etc. The Orthodox Church told nothing about it. They don't want to make anything with our greatest writer, because he was expelled from the church in 1902. And I don't know how to tell it correctly in Russian, but probably you will find this translation for your Persian variant. He was in Russian отлучен от церкви. Probably you will find somebody who will translate it in English or in Persian. Отлучен, that means when the head of the church Orthodox Church tells that you do not belong anymore to our religious society. And every day in the church, in the main churches, through all the country, you should be pronounced a devil that must not exist between us, that your ideas are false and they are evil ideas, and you should be expelled from the normal, from the living of a normal society. This is the first example of what people think about Leo Tolstoy. The Russian Orthodox Church cannot accept Leo Tolstoy till now, after 110 and 11 years from those periods. It's a very serious question.
His books have forbidden yet, yes?
They are not forbidden. It's impossible to forbidden the books now, but there are some freedom of printing in Russia, some freedom. Not everything is free, but however, this item is free, and you can print books of Leo Tolstoy. There are no copyright for them, but you will never see any Orthodox how to say, you will never see any priest, any Orthodox priest, who will accept the ideas of Leo Tolstoy, because he was against the church as an institute. He was not against God, or not against religion, or he believed in God, but he was against the church as a social institute. That was the only thing, and the church is still an institute, and it cannot accept the ideas of the great writer. What about the youth? They read Leo Tolstoy for sure. I saw young people, young ladies and young men that were buying the Leo Tolstoy books in bookshops. Yes, for sure, it is right. What do they think about it? It's very difficult to say, because the Russian society now has several stratas, have several levels of understanding our past. There are people who understand Leo Tolstoy, who understand their epoch and his ideas. There are many people that read Leo Tolstoy as a, as a bestseller. Anna Karenina, it's a very interesting book. Or War and Peace. Girls are reading about the love, and the boys are reading about the war, as always. So Leo Tolstoy is a writer for everybody, But is he the most beloved writer? Yes and no. He's the most famous, as Dostoevsky or Pushkin is in Russian. But I think no. There are many writers that they prefer. They prefer Bulgakov, the author of Master and Margarita, the famous novel. They prefer Nabokov, Vladimir Nabokov, an emigre writer, etc. There are many writers. Somebody prefers Solzhenitsyn, Alexander Solzhenitsyn. Leo Tolstoy is not the first writer, probably not in the first 5 position, but for sure he's in the top 10. In the top 10, not only because of his ideas, but because of his art masterpieces. That's for sure. That's for sure. But there is no other classic in Russia that is accepted with so precaution as Leo Tolstoy is, because of his attitude towards the church as an institute.